The unexpected arrival. The Galactic Council of Sentient Species prided itself on being prepared for any eventuality. With millions of years of combined knowledge from hundreds of advanced civilizations, they thought they had seen it all. That is, until the day an unidentified vessel appeared at the edge of their most heavily guarded sector. Admiral Zixnera of the Andromeda Defense Fleet stared at the holographic display, her four eyes blinking in rapid succession. The ship before her defied classification. It was ungainly, with odd protrusions and seemingly haphazard design choices, yet it moved with surprising grace for its size. "Status report," she demanded, her tentacles rippling with agitation. Her second in command, a crystalline being named Quartz, chimed in with a melodious voice. "The vessel doesn't match any known configurations, Admiral. It's not responding to standard hailing frequencies, and our scans can't penetrate its hull." Zixnera's skin shifted from its usual calming blue to a worried purple. "Any signs of aggression?" "Negative," Quartz replied. "It's maintaining a steady course towards the Centauri outpost. No weapons detected, but there's something odd about its energy signature." The Admiral's curiosity piqued. "Elaborate." Quartz's crystalline form shimmered as it processed the data. "It's inefficient. The energy output is far greater than necessary for a ship of that size. It's as if they're using some primitive form of propulsion we haven't seen in millennia." As they watched, the mysterious ship continued its approach, seemingly oblivious to the growing fleet of defensive vessels surrounding it. The Galactic Council's emergency channels were abuzz with speculation and concern. "Admiral," a new voice cut in. It was Dr. Lyrian, the fleet's xenobiologist. "I've been analyzing the trace elements in the ship's exhaust. You're not going to believe this, but it appears to be using some form of chemical propulsion." A collective gasp echoed through the command center. Chemical propulsion hadn't been used by any spacefaring race in the known galaxy for over 50,000 years. It was considered not only inefficient but downright dangerous for interstellar travel. Zixnera's mind raced. Could this be some lost colony, cut off from the galactic community for millennia? Or perhaps a relic from an ancient civilization, somehow preserved and now activated? "Prepare a first contact team," she ordered. "But approach with extreme caution. We don't know what we're dealing with here." As the Galactic Council's most experienced diplomats and scientists scrambled to prepare for the encounter, the strange ship finally came to a halt just outside the Centauri outpost's defensive perimeter. For several tense moments, nothing happened. Then, without warning, a crude transmission burst through every communication channel simultaneously. The universal translators struggled to process the unfamiliar language, but eventually, a message came through. "Greetings, stars. We come in peace and hope for friendship. We are humans from the planet Earth, and we're really excited to meet you." The simplicity and earnestness of the message caught everyone off guard. Zixnera exchanged glances with her senior staff. This was unprecedented. Most first contacts were carefully orchestrated affairs, with years of observation and preparation. But these, humans, had just waltzed into the heart of galactic civilization, as if invited to a casual gathering. Dr. Lyrian's eyes widened as he processed more data. "Admiral, I'm detecting multiple life signs aboard the vessel. They appear to be carbon-based, oxygen breathers, vital, but their genetic structure is unlike anything in our database." Zixnera made a decision. "Open a channel. Let's welcome our unexpected guests." As she prepared to address the humans, Zixnera couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy was about to change forever. Little did she know just how right she was. The next few hours were a whirlwind of activity. The human ship, which they learned was called Starship Enterprise, a name that caused much confusion among the galactic linguists, docked at the Centauri outpost. A delegation of 5 humans emerged, wearing bulky spacesuits that looked comically outdated to the advanced species present. The leader of the human group removed her helmet, revealing a face with 2 eyes, a protrusion in the center, which they later learned was called a nose, and a mop of long, dark fibers on top. She smiled, showing a row of white, blunt teeth. "Hello, I'm Captain Sophia Chen of Earth. We're thrilled to make first contact with galactic civilization." The enthusiasm in her voice was palpable, and despite their initial wariness, many of the alien diplomats found themselves charmed by the humans' openness. Admiral Zixnera stepped forward, her translator working overtime. "Welcome, Captain Chen, and humans of Earth. I am Admiral Zixnera of the Galactic Council. We admit to being surprised by your arrival. We had no knowledge of your species." Sophia's smile widened. "Well, we're full of surprises. We've been exploring our solar system for a while now, but this is our first venture into interstellar space. We kind of stumbled upon your civilization by accident. Happy accident, though." The casual admission of their inexperience sent ripples of concern through the gathered aliens. How had these primitive beings managed interstellar travel? And more importantly, what other surprises did they have in store? As the initial meetings progressed, it became clear that humanity was unlike any species the Galactic Council had encountered before. They were technologically primitive in many ways, yet they had achieved feats that should have been impossible with their level of development. Their ship, while crude, incorporated innovative solutions to problems that even advanced races struggled with. Their adaptability and creativity were off the charts, and their willingness to take risks shocked many of the more conservative species. But it was their history that truly stunned the galactic community. As the humans shared stories of their past, tales of conflict, perseverance, and triumph against overwhelming odds, many alien races began to see them in a new light. These humans had fought wars that nearly destroyed their planet, yet they had always found a way to rebuild and grow stronger. They had faced natural disasters, pandemics, and self-inflicted crises, emerging each time with new technologies and a fiercer determination to explore the stars. As the first day of contact drew to a close, Admiral Zixnera found herself in a private meeting with Captain Chen. "Your species is perplexing," Captain Zixnera admitted. "By all accounts, you shouldn't be here. Your technology is centuries behind ours, yet you've achieved what many thought impossible." Sophia chuckled. "We get that a lot, even among ourselves. But you know what they say. Necessity is the mother of invention. We've always been dreamers, reaching for the stars even when it seemed foolish." Zixnera's skin rippled with curiosity. "But aren't you afraid? The universe is vast and often dangerous. Many species took millennia to venture beyond their home systems." The human captain's eyes twinkled with a mix of determination and mischief. "Afraid? Sure, sometimes. But that's never stopped us before. Besides, if we waited until we were ready, by someone else's standards, we'd never leave our own backyard." As Sophia spoke, Zixnera began to understand why humans had managed to surprise an entire galactic civilization. Their courage, their audacity, and their relentless drive to explore were unlike anything she had encountered in her long career. The Admiral realized that the arrival of humanity was not just a first contact event. It was the beginning of a new era for the entire galaxy. These strange, primitive, yet incredibly resourceful beings were about to shake the foundations of galactic society. As she bid goodnight to Captain Chen, Zixnera couldn't help but wonder, is humanity really a threat, as some of her more cautious colleagues suggested? Or were they the breath of fresh air that the sometimes stagnant galactic community needed? One thing was certain. The next few days would be crucial in determining humanity's place among the stars, and Zixnera had a feeling that these humans, with their boundless enthusiasm and innovative spirit, were going to keep everyone on their toes. Little did she know that the greatest challenges and the most astounding revelations were yet to come. First contact and misunderstandings. The following days were a whirlwind of activity as the Galactic Council struggled to come to terms with the sudden appearance of humanity. News of the primitive yet surprisingly capable species spread like wildfire across the known universe, causing equal parts excitement and concern. Captain Sophia Chen and her crew found themselves at the center of a diplomatic storm. They were bombarded with questions from curious alien species, subjected to countless medical examinations, and invited to demonstrate their technology, which, to their hosts' continued bafflement, was a perplexing mix of the rudimentary and the ingenious. It was during one of these technology demonstrations that the first major misunderstanding occurred. Dr. Ilara, a human physicist, was explaining the principles behind their faster-than-light drive to a group of alien scientists. The drive, cobbled together from theoretical physics, determination, and more than a little luck, had allowed the humans to achieve what many thought impossible with their level of technology. So, you see, Ilara said, her eyes shining with excitement, by creating a bubble of warped space-time around the ship, we can effectively surf on the fabric of the universe itself. The alien scientists exchanged worried glances. Tavax, a multi-limbed being known for his expertise in quantum mechanics, spoke up. But the energy requirements for such a feat would be astronomical. The strain on the local space-time could cause catastrophic ripples across light years. Ilara blinked, then laughed. Oh, we thought of that. We use a concentrated burst of exotic matter to stabilize the warp bubble. It's not perfect, and it makes for a bumpy ride. But it works. The room fell silent. The casual mention of exotic matter, a theoretical substance that most advanced races considered too dangerous to experiment with, sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Within hours, emergency meetings were being held at the highest levels of the Galactic Council. The humans, it seemed, were not just primitive explorers. They were potentially universe-altering entities who played with forces they barely understood. Meanwhile, cultural exchanges were leading to their own set of misunderstandings. Human concepts like fiction and imagination were causing confusion among some of the more literal-minded species. During a cultural showcase, a human named Jack was reciting poetry to a group of fascinated aliens. His passionate delivery of Shakespeare's sonnets led to an interstellar incident when a telepathic species believed he was broadcasting intense romantic feelings towards everyone in the room. It took hours of careful diplomacy to explain the concept of acting and artistic expression to the flustered aliens, who were unused to species that could so easily separate their thoughts from their words. But it was a seemingly innocuous comment from a junior human engineer that really set the galaxy on edge. During a tour of the Centauri Outpost power plant, young engineer Raj whistled appreciatively. Wow, this is impressive. But with a few tweaks, we could probably increase its output by, 300% or so. The alien engineers stared at him in disbelief. The power plant was the result of thousands of years of careful optimization. The idea that this primitive human could casually suggest such a massive improvement was unsettling. Word of the human's casual brilliance spread quickly. Some saw it as a promising sign of humanity's potential. Others viewed it as a threat to the established order of the galaxy. Admiral Zixnera found herself working around the clock to manage the growing crisis. She had come to respect the humans' ingenuity and spirit, but she also understood the fears of her fellow council members. In a private meeting with Captain Chen, Zixnera expressed her concerns. Your people's creativity is causing quite a stir, Captain. Some of my colleagues are beginning to see humanity as a potential threat to galactic stability. Sophia frowned. A threat? But we've done nothing but try to learn and share since we arrived. Sure, we might do things differently, but isn't diversity supposed to be celebrated? Zixnera's skin rippled with a mix of emotions. In theory, yes. But you must understand, Captain. Many of our member species have existed in a careful balance for millennia. Your arrival with your unconventional methods and your willingness to take risks, it's disrupting that balance. Sophia's expression softened. I see. We never meant to cause trouble. We're explorers, scientists, dreamers. We just want to be part of this amazing galactic community. As they talked, Both leaders began to realize the enormity of the challenge ahead. How could humanity integrate into a galactic society that viewed them with equal parts fascination and fear? The answer came from an unexpected source. As debates raged in the council chambers about how to handle the human situation, a crisis erupted in a nearby star system. A stellar nursery, home to a newly emerging sentient species, was threatened by an unexpected surge in its star's fusion reactions. The Galactic Council's scientists were at a loss. Their models predicted the star's death within days, too soon to evacuate the fledgling civilization. It was in this moment of desperation that humanity would show its true colors and change the galaxy's perception forever. The human factor. The news of the impending stellar catastrophe spread through the Centauri outpost like wildfire. The Galactic Council's finest minds were working around the clock, but every simulation ended with the same grim result: the destruction of an entire civilization before it had a chance to reach for the stars. Captain Sophia Chen and her crew watched the frantic activity with growing concern. They might be new to the galactic stage, but the thought of standing by it while an entire species faced extinction was unthinkable. "We need to do something," Sophia said, her voice filled with determination. Her crew nodded in agreement, their faces set with resolve. Dr. Ilara, the physicist who had caused such a stir with her explanation of the human FTL drive, spoke up. "Captain, I have an idea. It's crazy, probably impossible, and definitely dangerous. But it might just work." Sophia grinned. "Sounds like a typical day for humanity. Let's hear it." As Ilara outlined her plan, the other humans' eyes widened. It was audacious, borderline insane, and exactly the kind of thing they excelled at. Without wasting another moment, Sophia marched into the council chambers, interrupting a heated debate about evacuation priorities. "Esteemed members of the council," she announced, her voice ringing with confidence, "we have a solution." The chamber fell silent, all eyes, and other sensory organs, turning to the human captain. Admiral Zixnera, who had been trying to maintain order, felt a mix of hope and trepidation. "Captain Chen, this is hardly the time for—" "With all due respect, Admiral," Sophia interrupted, "time is exactly what we don't have. Dr. Ilara, please explain our plan." As the human physicist laid out their proposal, the council members' reactions ranged from disbelief to outright horror. The plan involved using a modified version of the human's FTL drive to create a controlled space-time bubble around the unstable star, essentially placing it in a temporary stasis, while a more permanent solution could be devised. "This is madness," exclaimed Tovax, the multi-limbed quantum physicist. "The energy requirements alone would be—" "We'll use the Centauri outpost's power plant," Ilara cut in. "With the modifications our engineer Raj suggested, we can generate more than enough power." A murmur ran through the chamber. The casual mention of rewriting the laws of physics as the galaxy understood them was both thrilling and terrifying. Admiral Zixnera, her skin cycling through a rainbow of emotions, finally spoke. "And you believe this will work?" Sophia stepped forward, her eyes blazing with the fire that had driven humanity to the stars. "Honestly, we're not sure, but we're willing to try. That's what humans do. We face the impossible, and we find a way. Now we're asking for your trust and your help. Let us try to save those people." The council chamber erupted into chaos. Some members vehemently opposed the plan, citing the potential for catastrophic failure. Others, intrigued by the humans' audacity, argued in favor of giving them a chance. In the end, it was Admiral Zixnera who made the decisive move. "Enough," her voice boomed, silencing the chamber. "We've debated while a civilization hangs in the balance. I say we let the humans try." With the council's reluctant approval, Sophia and her crew sprang into action. The next few hours were a blur of activity as humans and aliens worked side by side, modifying the Centauri outpost systems to accommodate the audacious plan. Raj, the young engineer, found himself at the center of a whirlwind of activity as he directed the power plant modifications. His casual suggestion had now become the linchpin of their entire plan. "Are you sure this will work?" an alien engineer asked, its appendages trembling with a mix of excitement and fear. Raj grinned, the same grin that had driven human engineers to build pyramids, cross oceans, and reach for the moon. "Nope, but we're going to give it our best shot." As the modifications neared completion, Dr. Ilara and a team of the galaxy's finest physicists made the final calculations for the space-time bubble. The numbers were staggering, the energies involved beyond anything most of them had ever contemplated. "This is utter madness," Tovax muttered, his multiple limbs working furiously over holographic displays. "Brilliant madness, but madness nonetheless." Ilara laughed, the sound startling in the tense atmosphere. "Welcome to how humanity does science, my friend. Sometimes you have to leap before you look." With everything in place, it was time for the moment of truth. The combined fleet of human and alien ships positioned themselves around the dying star, ready to generate the massive space-time bubble. Captain Sophia Chen stood on the bridge of the Enterprise, her heart pounding but her voice steady as she gave the order. "All ships, commence bubble generation on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark." The universe seemed to hold its breath as unimaginable energies poured forth from the assembled fleet. For a terrifying moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly at first, but with gathering speed, a shimmering bubble of distorted space-time began to form around the turbulent star. Alarms blared across every ship as the fabric of reality groaned under the strain. "It's working," Ilara shouted over the cacophony. "But the bubble's unstable. We need more power." Without hesitation, Sophia made a decision that would be remembered for eons to come. "Divert all power from life support, everything we've got, into that bubble." Across the fleet, humans and aliens alike worked in perfect harmony, pushing their ships and themselves to the very limit. The temperature on the bridges began to rise as life support systems shut down, but no one wavered. Just when it seemed their efforts would be in vain, the bubble suddenly stabilized. The raging inferno of the star, moments ago on the brink of catastrophic collapse, now hung suspended in a pocket of altered space-time. A cheer went up across the fleet, quickly followed by a flurry of activity as life support systems were hastily brought back online. They had done it. Against all odds, using science that bordered on magic, humanity, and their new alien allies had saved an entire civilization. As the reality of their achievements sank in, Admiral Zixnera's voice came over the comms. "Captain Chen, I don't know what to say. You and your crew have accomplished the impossible." Sophia, exhausted but elated, managed a smile. "Just another day at the Office for Humanity, Admiral. But we couldn't have done it without everyone's help." This was a victory for the entire galaxy. In the days that followed, news of the incredible feat spread across the cosmos. The image of the star, frozen in time within its shimmering bubble, became a symbol of what could be accomplished when different species worked together. More importantly, it marked a turning point in how the galaxy viewed humanity. No longer were they seen as merely primitive upstarts or potential threats. They were now recognized as a species of incredible potential, whose unique approach to problems could complement the established wisdom of the galactic community. As for Captain Sophia Chen and her crew, they found themselves hailed as heroes across 1,000 worlds. But for them, the real reward was the knowledge that somewhere out there, a young civilization would have the chance to grow, to learn, and perhaps one day to join them among the stars. The human factor, it seemed, was not something to be feared, but to be celebrated. It was a force that could shake the foundations of the universe itself and reshape it for the better. As the immediate crisis passed and the galactic community began to grapple with the implications of what had occurred, new challenges and opportunities arose. The successful stabilization of the star had opened up entirely new fields of scientific inquiry, and researchers from across the galaxy clamored to work with the audacious humans who had made it possible. But not everyone was thrilled with this turn of events. Some more conservative elements within the Galactic Council worried that humanity's influence was growing too quickly, that their cavalier attitude towards established scientific principles could lead to disaster. These concerns came to a head when a delegation from a highly advanced, but notoriously isolationist species arrived at the Centauri outpost. The Zotol, a race of energy beings known for their mastery of space-time manipulation, had long stood apart from galactic affairs. Their sudden interest in recent events sent ripples of unease through diplomatic circles. As Captain Sophia Chen prepared to meet with the Zotol representatives, she couldn't shake the feeling that humanity was about to face its greatest challenge yet. Little did she know that this encounter would not only test humanity's place in the galaxy, but would also uncover ancient secrets that would reshape the understanding of life in the universe itself. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine whether humanity's boundless creativity and determination would be embraced by the galactic community, or if they would be seen as too dangerous to be allowed to roam free among the stars. As Sophia straightened her uniform and took a deep breath, she knew that the decisions made in the coming days would echo across the cosmos for millennia to come. The next chapter in humanity's grand adventure was about to unfold, and the entire galaxy waited with bated breath to see what these unpredictable, innovative, and courageous beings would do next. Allies in crisis. The arrival of the Zotol delegation brought an air of tension to the Centauri outpost. Their ship, if it could be called that, was unlike anything the station had ever hosted. A swirling vortex of energy that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Captain Sophia Chen stood at the docking bay, flanked by Admiral Zixnera and a contingent of Galactic Council representatives. As the Zotol emerged from their vessel, Sophia couldn't help but gasp. They were beings of pure light, their forms constantly shifting and pulsing with an inner radiance. The leader of the Zotol delegation, a being that glowed with a deep purple hue, addressed the assembled group. Its voice seemed to resonate directly in their minds. "We are the Zotol. We have observed your recent activities. Your manipulation of space-time has drawn our attention. This is unprecedented." Admiral Zixnera stepped forward, her skin rippling with a mix of respect and apprehension. "Honored Zotol, we welcome you to the Centauri outpost. We are honored by your presence." The Zotol leader's glow intensified. "We are not here for pleasantries, Admiral. We are here because the actions of these humans threaten the very fabric of the universe." Sophia felt a chill run down her spine. She had expected some pushback from the galactic community, but this level of concern from such an advanced species was alarming. "With all due respect," Sophia interjected, her voice steady despite her nerves, "our actions saved an entire civilization. We used our knowledge to preserve life, not to threaten the universe." The Zotol's form flickered, a gesture that Sophia interpreted as the equivalent of a scoff. "You meddle with forces beyond your comprehension, human. Your crude manipulations of space-time could have far-reaching consequences that your limited minds cannot fathom." Before Sophia could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Admiral Zixnera's communicator lit up with urgent messages. "By the cosmic core," Zixnera gasped. "The star, the bubble, it's destabilizing." All eyes turned to the massive viewscreen dominating the docking bay. The image of the saved star, once a serene sphere of frozen fire, was now a maelstrom of chaotic energy. The space-time bubble that had held it in check was visibly fluctuating, tendrils of stellar material beginning to breach its boundaries. The Zotol leader's glow pulsed with what seemed like a mix of vindication and concern. "You see, your reckless actions have set in motion events that could tear apart this entire sector of space." For a moment, panic threatened to overwhelm the assembled group. But then, Sophia Chen did something that would once again demonstrate why humanity was a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. She laughed. The sound cut through the tension like a knife. drawing bewildered looks from aliens and energy beings alike. "Well," Sophia said, a glint of determination in her eyes, "I guess we'll just have to fix it, won't we?" With that, she turned to Admiral Zixnera. "Admiral, we're going to need every ship you can muster. Dr. Ilara, get me our top scientists and engineers. And you," she said, facing the Jotol leader, "if you're so concerned about the fate of the universe, how about lending a hand instead of just criticizing?" The Jotol's glow flickered rapidly, a sign of surprise or possibly indignation. "You dare to suggest that we collaborate with lesser beings on such a delicate matter?" Sophia's grin widened. "Lesser beings who managed to do something you thought was impossible? Yeah, I dare. The way I see it, you've got two choices. Help us fix this and maybe learn something new, or stand back and watch as we do it anyway. What's it going to be?" For what seemed like an eternity, the Jotol leader remained silent. Then, to everyone's amazement, its glow shifted to a deep blue. "Your audacity is intriguing, human. Very well. We will assist. But know that if your actions threaten the greater cosmic balance, we will not hesitate to intervene." With that ominous warning hanging in the air, a flurry of activity erupted. Humans, various alien species, and the enigmatic Jotol began working together in a collaboration unprecedented in galactic history. Dr. Ilara found herself working alongside Jotol scientists, their vast knowledge of space-time manipulation complementing her innovative theories. Raj, the young engineer, was soon engaged in a lively debate with multi-limbed alien technicians and pulsating energy beings, all focused on boosting power outputs to unheard-of levels. As preparations were made for what promised to be the most ambitious feat of cosmic engineering ever attempted, Sophia couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. This, she realized, was humanity's greatest strength: the ability to unite diverse groups, to inspire cooperation in the face of impossible odds. Hours passed in a blur of complex calculations, hurried modifications, and tense strategy sessions. Finally, a plan emerged. It was risky, audacious, and relied on split-second timing and the combined efforts of a dozen different species. In other words, it was perfectly human. As the combined fleet of ships took up positions around the destabilizing star, Sophia stood on the bridge of the Enterprise, surveying the motley crew of humans and aliens working in perfect harmony. "All ships, report in," she commanded, her voice steadied despite the enormity of what they were about to attempt. One by one, confirmations came in, from sleek galactic council vessels, the pulsating energy construct of the Jotol, and dozens of other ships from across the galaxy, all united in a common cause. Sophia took a deep breath. "All right, everyone. Let's make history. Again. Commence Operation Cosmic Patch in 3, 2, 1. Execute." As the order was given, the assembled fleet sprang into action. Beams of energy crisscrossed space, weaving a complex web of forces around the failing space-time bubble. The Jotol's vessel pulsed with otherworldly power, manipulating the very fabric of reality. On the Enterprise, Ilara and her team worked feverishly, coordinating the efforts of the fleet and making split-second adjustments to their calculations. For several heart-stopping moments, it seemed as if their efforts would be in vain. The star's violent energies lashed out against the new containment field, threatening to break free and unleash devastation across the sector. But then, slowly at first, but with gathering momentum, the chaotic energies began to stabilize. The space-time bubble, reinforced by the combined knowledge and efforts of a dozen species, began to reassert its control over the raging stellar inferno. As the crisis passed and the star once again hung peaceful and contained, a cheer went up across the fleet. They had done it. Against all odds, facing a challenge that would have been insurmountable for any one species alone, they had triumphed through unity and determination. In the aftermath of their success, Sophia found herself once again face to face with the Jotol leader. Its glow had shifted to a warm golden hue, It seems, the energy being communicated, that we may have underestimated you, Captain Chen, and perhaps ourselves as well. There is much we can learn from each other." Sophia smiled, extending her hand in a gesture of friendship. That's what exploration is all about, isn't it? Learning, growing, facing the unknown together. As the Jotol leader's energy field gently enveloped Sophia's hand in what could only be described as a cosmic handshake, a new chapter in galactic history began to unfold. The crisis had been averted, but its repercussions would echo across the cosmos for eons to come. Humanity had proven itself not just as a species of dreamers and innovators, but as a unifying force in a vast and often divided galaxy. As news of their latest feats spread, more and more alien races began to see humans not as a threat, but as catalysts for positive change. The age of collaboration had begun, and at its heart stood humanity, forever curious, eternally optimistic, and always ready for the next big adventure. A new galactic perspective. In the months following the dramatic stabilization of the star, the galaxy underwent a transformation unlike any in its long history. The event, now known across countless worlds as the cosmic convergence, had demonstrated the incredible potential of interspecies cooperation. At the heart of this galactic renaissance were the humans, whose unique blend of innovation, adaptability, and sheer audacity had captured the imagination of species both ancient and young. Captain Sophia Chen found herself at the center of a whirlwind of diplomatic activity. The Enterprise, once viewed with suspicion as a primitive vessel, was now a symbol of unity and progress. Dignitaries from across the galaxy clamored for the opportunity to visit and learn from the human crew. One particularly memorable encounter occurred when a delegation from a hive mind species known as the Xinfar arrived. Their crystalline forms glittered as they moved through the ship, their collective consciousness struggling to comprehend the concept of individual thought that drove human innovation. How do you achieve consensus without a unified mind? The lead Xinfar asked, its facets reflecting Sophia's puzzled expression. Sophia chuckled. We don't, really. That's kind of the point. Our disagreements, our diverse perspectives. That's what drives us forward. We argue, we debate, we challenge each other. And in the process, we come up with ideas that none of us would have thought of alone. The concept seemed to both fascinate and disturb the Xinfar, leading to long philosophical discussions that left both species with a new appreciation for different modes of thought. Meanwhile, Dr. Ilara found herself leading a groundbreaking initiative to establish the first truly universal scientific database. Working alongside the Jotol and other advanced races, she helped create a system that could translate complex scientific concepts across wildly different cognitive frameworks. It's not just about sharing knowledge, Ilara explained to a group of eager young scientists from a dozen different species. It's about creating a foundation for entirely new fields of study. Imagine combining the Jotol's mastery of space-time with the Xinfar's quantum entanglement techniques and human creativity. The possibilities are endless. The excitement in her voice was contagious, inspiring a new generation of cross-species research teams that would go on to make breakthrough discoveries in fields ranging from zero-point energy to biosynthetic computing. Raj, the young engineer whose casual suggestion had played a crucial role in saving an entire civilization, found himself heading up a new division of the Galactic Council dedicated to innovative implementation. His task was to find ways to apply humanity's unique problem-solving approaches to long-standing galactic issues. One of Raj's first projects involved addressing the energy crisis facing a cluster of densely populated worlds in the Orion Arm. Traditional solutions had failed, but Raj saw an opportunity to apply human ingenuity. Look, he explained to a skeptical group of alien engineers, his eyes shining with excitement. We're thinking too linearly. Instead of trying to generate more energy, why don't we create a Dyson swarm? We can use the star's own energy to power the construction, and within a few decades, we'll have solved the energy crisis for the entire sector. The audacity of the plan initially shocked his colleagues, but as Raj laid out the details, combining technologies from a dozen different species with some distinctly human touches, excitement began to build. Within a year, construction on the first large-scale Dyson swarm in galactic history had begun. But it wasn't just in the realms of science and engineering that humanity was making its mark. Human culture, art, and philosophy began to spread across the galaxy, offering new perspectives to ancient civilizations. The concept of fiction, once confusing to many alien species, became a galactic sensation. Holographic adaptations of Shakespeare played to packed houses on worlds light years from Earth. The works of Asimov and Clarke were studied in xenosociology classes, offering insights into the human psyche. Even human cuisine found an enthusiastic audience among the stars. An Arcturian food critic, known for its notoriously picky taste in molecular gastronomy, wrote a rave review of a simple Earth dish. This pizza, with its perfect balance of flavors and textures, is nothing short of a revelation. It is a testament to the human ability to find sublimity in simplicity. However, humanity's rising influence in galactic affairs was not without its challenges. Some species, particularly those with rigid social structures or conservative ideologies, viewed the rapid changes with alarm. The Vexcar Imperium, a species known for their strict hierarchical society and militaristic culture, saw humanity's egalitarian ideals as a threat to their way of life. Tensions rose as human ideas of individual rights and democratic governance began to spread among the younger generations of Vexcar. It was during this time of growing unease that the galaxy faced its greatest challenge yet. A probe from the furthest reaches of known space brought back disturbing data. A massive void was expanding at the edge of the galaxy, consuming everything in its path. Initial projections showed that within a few thousand years, the void would engulf the entire Milky Way, obliterating all life as they knew it. The news sent shockwaves through the galactic community. Ancient races who had seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations found themselves facing an existential crisis unlike any in their long histories. As panic began to spread and some species started making plans to flee to neighboring galaxies, humanity once again stepped up to the challenge in a way that would redefine their place in the cosmic order. Captain Sophia Chen, now an admiral in the newly formed United Galactic Fleet, stood before the emergency session of the Galactic Council. Her voice rang out clear and strong, carrying a message of hope to representatives from a million worlds. Fellow sentients, we face a threat greater than any in our collective memory. This void, this cosmic cancer, threatens not just our individual species or worlds, but the very fabric of our galaxy. In the face of such a threat, we have two choices. We can succumb to fear, turn inward, and watch as everything we know is slowly consumed. Or we can stand together, pooling our knowledge, our resources, and our determination to fight for our home. She paused, her eyes sweeping across the assembled beings, from the energy forms of the Jotol to the crystalline structures of the Xinthar, from the multi-limbed Vexcard to dozens of species humans had yet to even name. Humanity is young in the cosmic scale. We've made mistakes, we've stumbled, but we've also shown that with creativity, courage, and cooperation, we can achieve the impossible. Now, we propose the greatest endeavor in the history of our galaxy. With a gesture, Sophia activated a holographic display that filled the council chamber. It showed a massive structure, a blend of technologies from across the galaxy, all working in harmony. We call it the Galactic Shield. By combining the Jotol's mastery of space-time, the Xinthar's quantum entanglement networks, Vexcar gravitic manipulation, and technologies from 100 other worlds, we can create a barrier that will not just stop the void, but push it back. Murmurs of astonishment and disbelief rippled through the chamber. The scale of the project was beyond anything ever conceived. It will take generations, Sophia continued. It will require resources beyond imagining. But together, united as a galactic community, we can do this. We can save not just ourselves, but countless future civilizations that have yet to rise from their primordial oceans. For a moment, silence reigned in the chamber. Then, slowly at first, but with growing enthusiasm, representatives began to stand. The Jotol glowed with brilliant hues of determination. The Exynthar crystals resonated in harmonic agreement. Even the Vexkar, setting aside their misgivings, raised their weapons in a salute of respect. As the chamber erupted in a chorus of agreement, Sophia felt a surge of pride not just in humanity, but in the united spirit of the galaxy they now called home. In that moment, any lingering doubts about humanity's place among the stars were washed away. They were no longer seen as a potential threat, but as a vital part of the galactic tapestry. A young, vibrant species whose boundless optimism and innovative spirit had given new hope to an ancient cosmos. As preparations for the Galactic Shield project began, a new era dawned. It was an age of unprecedented cooperation, of scientific marvels beyond imagination, and of a united galactic civilization standing tall against the darkness. And at the heart of it all stood humanity, forever curious, eternally optimistic, and always ready to face the unknown with a smile and an outstretched hand of friendship. The stars, once distant and unreachable, had become humanity's playground and their responsibility. The next chapter of their cosmic adventure was just beginning, and the entire universe watched with bated breath to see what these remarkable beings would do next. As news of the Galactic Shield project spread across the cosmos, it sparked a renaissance of hope and innovation. Species that had long been at odds found common ground in the face of this existential threat. The project became a symbol of unity, a testament to what could be achieved when diverse minds came together with a shared purpose. Dr. Ilara, now heading the scientific division of the Galactic Shield Initiative, found herself at the forefront of discoveries that pushed the boundaries of known physics. Working alongside beings whose very existence challenged human understanding of life itself, she helped pioneer technologies that could manipulate the very fabric of reality. It's not just about building a shield, she explained during a galactic broadcast. We're rewriting the laws of the universe as we know them. Every challenge we overcome, every breakthrough we make, takes us one step closer to understanding the fundamental nature of existence itself. Meanwhile, Raj's engineering teams were tackling the logistical nightmares of constructing a structure that would span the edge of the galaxy. His innovative approaches, combining technologies in ways never before imagined, continually amazed his alien colleagues. Humans have this saying, Raj often quipped during project meetings, "Necessity is the mother of invention." Well, we've got one hell of a necessity on our hands, so let's get inventing. As the years passed and the Galactic Shield began to take shape, humanity's influence continued to grow. Earth, once a backwater planet on the spiral arm of an unremarkable galaxy, became a hub of interstellar culture and commerce. The sight of 1,000 different species walking the streets of New York or Tokyo became commonplace. Human concepts like democracy and individual rights spread across the stars, sparking social revolutions on worlds that had known only rigid hierarchies for millennia. The Vexkar, once wary of human influence, found themselves undergoing a cultural renaissance as younger generations embraced new ideas while finding ways to honor their ancient traditions. But perhaps the most profound change came in how the galaxy viewed itself. The threat of the void, once a source of paralyzing fear, had become a catalyst for unity. Species that had never communicated now worked side by side. Ancient rivalries were set aside in the face of a common goal. As the first sections of the Galactic Shield flickered into existence, visible as a shimmering curtain of energy at the edge of space, a sense of awe swept across countless worlds. It was a monument not just to technological prowess, but to the power of cooperation and shared purpose. Admiral Sophia Chen, her hair now streaked with gray, but her eyes still bright with the same determination that had first carried her to the stars, stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, the massive space habitat that served as the headquarters for the Galactic Shield project. Beside her stood representatives from across the galaxy, the luminous form of a Jotun elder, the crystalline structure of a Xinthar collective, a grizzled Vexcar commander, and dozens of others. Together, they watched as another section of the shield came online, pushing back the encroaching void. "You know," Sophia said, a smile playing on her lips, "when we first ventured into space, we wondered if we were alone in the universe. We asked ourselves if humanity would be a force for good or if we'd be seen as a threat." She turned to face her companions, beings she now counted as dear friends. "I think we've answered that question. We're not alone, and we're not a threat. We're part of something greater than ourselves, a galactic family, facing the future together." The Jotun elder's glow pulsed warmly. "Indeed, Admiral Chen, your species has taught us that true strength lies not in isolation or superiority, but in unity and diversity. The universe is richer for humanity's presence." As they turned back to watch the shield, Sophia felt a sense of pride and purpose unlike anything she had ever known. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not as conquerors or saviors, but as partners in a grand cosmic adventure. The void still loomed at the edge of the galaxy, a reminder of the challenges that lay ahead. But as Sophia looked at the beings around her, at the shield that stood as a testament to their combined will, she knew that whatever the universe might throw at them, they would face it together. For in the end, the greatest discovery humanity had made in its journey to the stars was not a new technology or a distant world. It was the realization that in a vast and often daunting cosmos, the strongest force of all was the bonds forged between diverse beings united by common hopes and dreams. As the galactic shield shimmered before them, a new chapter in the story of the universe was being written. And humanity, once a small spark in the cosmic night, now burned brightly alongside countless others, illuminating the path to a future limited only by the bounds of their collective imagination. The tale of humanity's rise from a primitive earthbound species to a pivotal member of the galactic community would be told and retold across countless worlds for eons to come. It would inspire new generations to look to the stars with wonder and hope, to embrace diversity, and to face challenges with creativity and determination. And somewhere out there, on worlds yet undiscovered, young beings of species yet unknown would hear these stories and dream of the day when they too would join the grand tapestry of galactic civilization, adding their own unique threads to the ever-expanding cosmic narrative. For in the end, the answer to the question, "Is humanity really a threat?" was a resounding no. They were, instead, a catalyst for change, for growth, for unity. In the vast story of the universe, humanity had found its chapter, and it was one of hope, adventure, and the limitless potential of life itself.